Welcome to this course, Overcome Impostor Syndrome. My name is Alen Stellian, your midlife mentor and the creator of this course. Let's get started with Module 1, where I'll cover what imposter syndrome is, who is most likely to experience it, and its likely consequences. And to assist you throughout this course, please download and print out the follow-along guide that is provided to you in the home page. You'll find places to take notes, as well as all the detailed instructions for this course's assignments. To begin, please make note of what resonates with you as I speak. When you look at your successes in life, do you ever assume you got lucky and are undeserving? Think there's been some kind of mistake and you don't belong? Believe you're fooling everyone around you? Discount the praise or recognition you receive? Or live in fear of being found out for the fraud you really are? While many of us will feel some of these some of the time, if you feel many of these a lot of the time, you may suffer from imposter syndrome. Now, what is that? It's the fear that we will be exposed as a fraud, stemming from our internalized belief that we are not as competent as others perceive us to be, a belief that persists despite our accomplishments. In other words, feeling like a phony. Now, how does imposter syndrome show up in our lives? Here are some common ways. We attribute our successes to external factors like connections or luck, and our failures to internal factors like a lack of talent or ability. We exaggerate our failures and dwell on them endlessly, even agonizing over tiny mistakes. We second-guess ourselves and ruminate over things we've said and done. We worry excessively about what others are thinking of us. We take any negative feedback we do receive as proof we are phonies. We criticize ourselves nonstop. We think in all or nothing terms. If it's not perfect, it's terrible. If I'm not the best, I'm nobody. We obsess about working hard, over-preparing, and making everything perfect, or we procrastinate on challenging tasks for fear of not being up to the challenge or less than perfect. Now, how did this idea of imposter syndrome come about? It was coined in 1978 by clinical psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes, pictured here, based on their research among high-achieving women. Clance and Imes actually named an imposter phenomenon, but imposter syndrome is a language that has caught on. And this is despite the fact that it's actually not a syndrome, not a psychological disorder or a mental illness. There is no diagnosis, there is no cure. Here's how Clance and Imes depict the vicious cycle of imposter syndrome. First, we are faced with an achievement-related task. We become anxious about it, which leads us either to spend too much time on the task or to procrastinate and then rush to finish it. When the task is finally done, we feel relieved. If it turned out well, we often get positive feedback, but if we don't accept that feedback and instead attribute our success to other forces like luck, this only reinforces our anxiety. And when the next task comes about, the cycle repeats itself. 70% of us will experience imposter syndrome at some point in our lives, but it often goes unrecognized because we keep it secret. It's hard to know what the causes are because too many variables are involved, like family dynamics, personality type, belief systems, societal pressures, life experiences. But there does appear to be some correlation with families that have a big emphasis on achievement, as well as families with highly critical parents. Research has shown that feelings of fraud affect all demographics, men as much as women, 40% of high achievers as well. Imposter syndrome is also particularly common among first-generation college students or professionals, women in STEM, meaning science, tech, engineering, and math, and others who are minorities in their fields, as well as people in academia. Some people are more susceptible to imposter syndrome. It's been linked to perfectionism, performance anxiety, low self-esteem, introversion, feeling little control over one's environment, and neuroticism. But the most common link is fear of failure. Many incredibly talented and successful people have experienced imposter syndrome, like Maya Angelou, an American poet, author, and civil rights activist. the winner of many awards, including 3 Grammys, the National Medal of Arts, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She says, I have written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find me out now. I've run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. Here's Neil Gaiman, an English best-selling author and film writer, and the winner of Newbery and Carnegie medals among many awards. He says, the first problem of any kind of even limited success is the unshakable conviction that you are getting away with something and that any moment now they will discover you. How about Jodie Foster? She's an American actress, producer, and director, the winner of 2 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and many more. She says, I thought everybody would find out and they'd take the Oscar back. They'd come to my house, knocking on the door. Excuse me, we meant to give that to someone else. That was going to be Meryl Streep. And there's Michael Uslan, the producer of the Batman movies. He says, when I'm on set, I still have this background feeling that one of the security guards might come and throw me out. Dr. Margaret Chan, a Chinese-Canadian physician and former Director General of the World Health Organization. She says, there are an awful lot of people out there who think I'm an expert. How do these people believe all this about me? I'm so much aware of all the things I don't know. Then there's Albert Einstein, the German-born theoretical physicist who developed the theory of relativity, one of the pillars of modern physics. He's also the recipient of the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics. He says, the exaggerated esteem in which my life work is held makes me very ill at ease. I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindle to have been struck by it. And there's Tina Fey, an American actress, comedian, writer, and producer, the winner of 9 Emmy Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards, 5 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and the list goes on. She says, the beauty of the imposter syndrome is you vacillate between extreme egomania and a complete feeling of, I'm a fraud. Oh God, they're on to me. I'm a fraud. And there's Sheryl Sandberg, an American technology executive, the COO of Facebook, activist, and author. She is consistently ranked one of the 50 most powerful women in business by Fortune magazine. And she says, I felt like that my whole life when she talks about feeling like a fraud. And there are many more, from Mahatma Gandhi to Kate Winslet, Michelle Obama to Sonia Sotomayor, Natalie Portman to Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. And me too. I remember, despite my successes and promotions, being grateful to be leaving Paris at age 13 because I believed I wouldn't be able to continue doing well in French schools, downplaying my straight A's in high school in the US because school in America is easier than in France, feeling like I'd gotten into Duke University only because my older brother went there, feeling like I was not cut out for business school, worrying that I'd be discovered as a fraud when I worked in corporate America, believing I needed to read yet one more parenting book to be a decent mom to our daughters, and on and on. Even today, I'm learning not to instinctively downplay my accomplishments. Now, for most of us, imposter feelings will come and go and not significantly affect our success, but for some of us, they can have serious consequences. What kinds of consequences? We'll feel alone in our feelings of fraud and hide them, sometimes isolating ourselves in the process. We avoid asking for help when we need it. We waste time and energy with our constant worry and self-evaluation. We are drained of energy and confidence and may even burn out. We zap any joy out of our successes and cannot accept compliments for a job well done. We become risk-averse, not trying new things for fear of failure. We telegraph insecurity and hold off on promoting ourselves and our abilities. With low self-esteem, we may very well end up underperforming and proving ourselves right in a self-fulfilling prophecy. And when we succeed after killing ourselves to prepare, we perpetuate the cycle, believing that that is the level of preparation we will need in order to succeed the next time. We may self-sabotage and derail our careers by not seeking promotions or better jobs. We push away coworkers, friends, and family by exhausting them with our constant need for reinsurance. And in the worst cases, we may enter a state of deep anxiety or depression. When we take a deeper look, we often find that our fears are there for a reason. By keeping us in our comfort zone, they prevent us from risking failure or embarrassment, which would reveal us to be the imposters we always knew we were. But while they may feel protective, our imposter fears keep us from pursuing our dreams and achieving our full potential. They keep us small. Here are your Module 1 assignments. First, you'll take a short test that will uncover your level of imposter syndrome. Second, you'll identify the times you have felt like an imposter and reflect on how this has negatively impacted your life and your potential. Ready to get started? Make sure you've downloaded the follow-along guide that comes with this course. That's where you'll find all the details of this module's assignments.